Well, good evening, everyone. Sorry we're a couple of minutes late, but thank you for logging in tonight with me. My name is Grant Barnett, and on behalf of FXTrading.com, a warm welcome along to our Getting Started coaching event for this Monday, the 23rd of May, 2022. As you may have known through our communication to you in the last week or so, that our session tonight is for anybody that's new to the trading platform. And when I'm talking about the trading platform, I'm meaning the MetaTrader 4 trading platform. So if you're new to MetaTrader, you're in the right place tonight. We're going to be spending the vast majority of time on the platform itself. And for me, it's great to have your company here. Of course, understanding how to use your trading platform is critically important. I guess it's a little bit like understand you're on a journey, an investment journey with us here at FXTrading.com. And you have a destination that you want to make it to, and that might be to make substantial returns in the markets. But to do that, you need to understand how to use the vehicle to get to your destination, just like you would be if you're going on holidays. You need to know how to drive the car, the brakes, the steering wheel, the accelerator, all the things that get you to your journey. Well, that's exactly the same in the investment world as well. If you're going to get there, you need to understand how to use the platform. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Of course, tonight we are in a coaching event only. Any market examples given tonight should be just viewed as part of the learning process. Should not be viewed as advice to take specific action. It's just a learning and coaching webinar only. If you would like to view our product disclosure statement at any time, you can do that over at fxtrading.com. All right, what we're going to be covering tonight in our Getting Started coaching event is firstly how to navigate the trading platform. When I say trading platform, if you ever hear the term platform or MT4, we're talking about the instrument that you use to place positions into the market that's connected to your account. And we'll show you the different areas of the platform tonight so you understand how to navigate your way around the platform itself. We'll show you how to place a trade on your platform. That's obviously a priority here tonight as well, and also how you can adjust a trade on your platform as well. How to close a trade, how to understand the different order types. There's different ways that we can enter positions into the market. It's important that you understand exactly what they are. And one of those is including how to place a pending order. Pending order, as the word suggests, you can place an order in the market at a specific price. We'll show you how you can place a pending order and explain the differences between the different pending orders as well. And else tonight, we're also going to have a few tips on setting up your charts, understanding the basics of leverage and margin. And if you'd like, we'll have a little Q&A at the session of tonight as well. And also what to do now. If you like the educational material you're talking about tonight, we'll point you in the right direction, how you can learn more and watch a few more tutorials on the platform itself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to share my platform up to you right now. All right, guys, you should be able to see my trading platform. That should be up in front of you now. This is a MetaTrader 4 trading platform, and right now there should be a big chart on the screen at the moment with lots of blue and white candles on there for you. All right, so when you download the MetaTrader 4 trading platform for the very first time, it's going to open up. And essentially, if you've already created your self account, eventually it's going to look very similar to what it is on the screen right now. You might in fact have 4 charts in front of you. So currently there's just one major chart on the screen there at the moment. But sometimes you'll have 4 charts on there. The basics of what we're doing tonight, I prefer you just to have one chart open, because I'm going to teach you how to set up your charts in a specific way very shortly, where you don't have to have multiple charts open on your screen. So you can close down some of those charts and just have one major chart on the screen like this. I like to have my trading platform with a number of different panels showing to me. And we're going to start out and walk you through it. Tonight I want you to follow my cursor. This Vimeo actual video room does not have a drawing tool, so I'll just try to move my cursor around nice and slowly for you tonight. To ensure you understand what I'm pointing at. And you should be able to see I'm just circling my cursor now down in the bottom left-hand corner of the chart there. So just follow along with my cursor. I'm going to be talking about different sections of the trading platform. And first, we're going to start out and show you how to navigate your way around the trading platform to ensure you know the different areas of the platform and exactly what they are and the importance to you. So we're going to start out in the bottom left-hand corner first and talk about this area down here where we can see the word balance, equity, and free margin. And if you look very, very closely in the bottom left-hand corner, it actually says terminal written there in vertical upside down there, so the word terminal. This is a terminal window. This is showing to us currently our balance that's available in this particular account. And underneath that, there's a big blank white area from left to right, which is nothing in there at the moment. There will be a little bit later on. We'll show you a position in the market. We'll place a trade or two and show you what that looks like. But inside of this area, you can see there's a number of tabs down the bottom from trade all the way through to journal. One that says exposure here, account history, news, alerts, mailbox, etc. A tip for you, I would keep things nice and simple and leave it on the trade tab all of the time, especially in the first few days and weeks of your trading journey, because you want to ensure that you can see your open positions in the market. A lot of the information that's inside of these other tabs is really what I would class useless information to you at this point in time in your journey, okay? So the account history area might be something you might want to look at from time to time, but the rest of the information is not critically important to you at this point in time. So just leave it on the trade tab here so you can see your open positions. So from left to right inside of here, there'll be any open positions you have running in the market, whether you're in one trade or more than one trade, and you'll have a cumulative open profit and loss showing to you in the far right-hand corner. If you see my cursor over there that I'm moving around at the moment, you'll see it says profit 000. That's because we don't have any trades running. We will shortly, I'll show you how we place a position in the market. So that's the trade terminal area. You can move this up and down by hovering your mouse over any of the little windows here or the line here and move it up like this or back down like this. So if you have just a couple of trades running, you might want to keep this area nice and tight. If you have more than, say, 2 or 3 trades running, you might want to bring that up so you can see all of your open positions in the market. So that's the trade terminal area. Let's move up to the left-hand side. This is what we call the Navigator area. Essentially, if you're new to MetaTrader 4, I want you to really think of this area like your accounts area. Okay, there are a number of other things inside of here which you can use a little bit later on down the track, but this is really your accounts area, and you can see here there's a couple of accounts inside of here. I'm going to show you how we move across from a demo account onto a live account in a moment, but really the other things inside of here, if you have the windows open like this and you're not using any of the expert advisors or adding additional customization to the platform, I would recommend that you simply keep this area nice and tight and small so you can just see your accounts that you have available to you. Because if you're not using any of the indicators or expert advisors or scripts or anything, there's no need to have those open. And again, you can minimize this area up and down by moving that cursor up and down. If you ever accidentally remove one of the panels, so if I accidentally click on this cross here, which some people do from time to time and they wonder how to get it back again, you click on that and it disappears. Very easy, come up to view, click on view at the top, come down to Navigator, and that will appear again for you there, okay? So that is the Navigator area, and it holds your accounts, and obviously if you're opening a demo account or a live account, you're gonna have an account number and password, and you can log on to either account. So currently we just logged on to a demo account here at the moment, but if you have created your real money account, fxtrading.com will send out a account number and a password to you. Okay, that'll come out to you via email after you've created your account within your account portal area of our website. Now, once you've got those details, it's very easy to move from a demo account to a live account. I'll show you there's a number of ways you can do this, but we'll just do it this way. You can find your demo account in the box here, which is already checked. Let's see, it's account 873779. And I can simply double click on that account, and that will bring up the opt-in window, which allows you to access a specific trading account if you have one or more live accounts. And as we know, we can have more than one live account that you can have. Now, if your account, you've got your login account number, you just type that in. You'll type your password inside here as well. And if you want to switch to the live server, you can do that very easily by selecting the live server here and clicking on login. When you do that, if you place the correct account number and password in, a trading platform will make a noise. It's like a bell's noise, and you'll switch over onto your live account. And you can even move across on your live account if you have zero balance. You can still log onto it. You simply can't trade it, obviously, if you don't have any funds available inside of there, okay? So at any time, again, you can just double click inside of here and you can switch from one account to the other. You'll notice this little box here at the bottom that says save account information. If you're concerned about your security of your computer or your trading platform and you would like the platform to prompt you for the account number and password every time, then you need to uncheck that box, okay? So if you want to put in a password and your account number each time that you keep logging on and off accounts, then you will need to uncheck this. If you're not concerned about that, then you would like to have it saved, click that and it will remember your login number and password for each one of those accounts that you're logging onto, okay? So very easy to do that. So that's your Navigator window here. And again, you can move this up and down and make it as big or as small as you like, depending on what you're doing inside of there. All right, let's move up to the left-hand side here now and continue up. And you can see here, there's a little tab here just above where the word Navigator, it says symbols. But if we move all the way up to the top, it says Market Watch up here. This is in fact what we call the Market Watch window. Okay, this is where all of the asset classes and symbols that are available to trade inside MetaTrader 4 are available for you to bring onto a selected chart that you would like to then potentially trade. And you can see there's a lot inside of here. In fact, if I either scroll up and down in here, or I can drag this actual box up and down in here, you can see there's lots of different asset classes and currency pairs. There's share CFDs, sorry, not share CFDs, there's stock indices, there's precious metals, gold and silver, and all kinds of asset classes for you to trade. You can leave it like this, or you can, I'm going to show you a couple of tips how you can make your selections very selective by just having the window with the symbols that you like to have inside of it, okay? So if you would like to do that, you can just simply click on any symbol inside the Market Watch area and you can right click and click on Hide All, okay? Hide All. And that will just essentially bring up a short list of symbols here for you, depending on how many charts you have available on your chart window. And if you follow my cursor down here, you'll see there's a number of charts down the bottom here that I'm just circling right now with my cursor. And I'm going to show you how you can start to create those and a number of ways you can change the look of the charts here in a moment or two. But essentially the chart at the moment in front of us on the screen, the blue and white candles, that is of the sterling against the US dollar, the GBP USD. And if I want to change that, I can select any of our symbols here and I can just left click and hold and drag and drop it onto the chart. And that's a very easy way of changing what you have on the chart in front of you, is dragging and dropping. I'm going to show you how to create those charts down there in a moment. If you wanted to be selective and bring in each symbol by itself, so you don't have it looking like this, where you have a whole host of symbols inside of here, and you want to be very selective of what you see inside the Market Watch window, that's very easy to do. You can click on Hide All, and then you can simply right click and come to Symbols. And you can, inside of this window, you can select whatever you'd like to have inside of there. So let's say that we wanted the Australian New Zealand dollar inside of the Market Watch area. I can select that and then click on Show, and that will move it into the Market Watch window. Okay, if I wanted the Canadian Swiss franc, I would select that and add that into the Market Watch window. So you can be very selective on what you put in there, and you can go to those very, very quickly rather than having a whole host of symbols inside of there. Maybe you don't trade them all, okay? And of course, all the different asset classes are available inside of here. If you just scroll down, and you can find the precious metals, cryptos, indices, commodities, etc. So if you ever wanted to remove one out of here, just select it, and then just click on hide. That will remove anything that you placed inside of there. But again, if you want to have the entire symbol showing for you, just right click and click on show all. Okay, so I've showed you how to very quickly change the charts from anything on the left hand side of the market watch. You can just, as I said, click and hold and drop it onto the charts, and that will change it very quickly for you. But I'm going to show you a way now where you can set up your charts where you have a whole host of tabs down the bottom like I do, and you can move to a particular pair, whether it be currencies or whatever you're looking at, very, very quickly. So let's presume I wanted to have, let's say, another currency pair. We need to add that into our market watch window first. So let's right click inside of here, click on symbols. We might go ahead and add the Australian New Zealand dollar inside of there because I want to create this as a tab down the bottom that I can have a whole host of my different favorite currency pairs or whatever you want to have inside of your MetaTrader. So you can click on show, that'll bring up the Australian New Zealand dollar. Now, if I want to add that as a little chart down the bottom, a little tab down the bottom here, I can come up in the bottom top left-hand corner, you see a plus sign up there. It says create a new chart. I can click on that and I can see any of my currency pairs that I currently have down here, or I can move across. It'll show me all of the different pairs that I have in my market watch area, and you can see the one down the bottom here, Australian New Zealand dollar, which I've added in there. So I'll just click on that, and then we'll add that chart window down the bottom for me on the right hand side. So you can see now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Depending on how big your screen is, will be dependent on how many you can fit across the bottom there. So there's two ways to bring and change the charts that are in front of you. You can either drag and drop from the market watch area, or you can start to create your own tabs. And my general advice to you is that I would start to create your tabs down the bottom. And that way you can have a short list of either your currency pairs or your stock indices or whatever it is, and you can eventually even start to set up a little profile also where you can move from one asset class to the other. We'll keep it simple tonight and just show you how you can create those tabs. And if you want to move them around in alphabetical order, you can. So if you want to move this Australian New Zealand dollar to the left, we can move that all the way up by clicking on it and just dropping it up to the top. If we want to remove it, we can just right click and click on close. Okay, so again, you'll need to add it into your market watch window first if you are being selective like this. If you have your market watch showing with all of the symbols inside of there, when you click on the little plus sign at the top, you'll be able to find your symbol very, very easily to select and create your chart. Okay, and again, this area, this little panel here, you can also start to widen as well, depending on what you want to see inside of your market watch window. You can also make this bigger and smaller as well. All right, before we move up to the top and talk about some of the buttons up here that are important for you to know and eventually how to place a trade, I just want to talk about the charts here itself and the cosmetic look of charts. When you open a MetaTrader 4, generally the broker will have a very standard chart in front of you, very much like this that you're looking at the moment. That's the default chart of MetaTrader 4. Now, some people are quite comfortable with that and they get familiar with how to use the default chart very easily. But you can customize the look of the chart very, very easily with your own cosmetic customization. And what I mean by cosmetic customization is that you can change the charts to look something like this. Okay, this is a chart template that I personally had myself that stands out to me, and I have a number of things on here that I personally like to use myself. And I like the candles to look the way they do at the moment, and I have some indicators there that I personally use myself, okay? So if you would like to start to cosmetically set up your own colors and indicators and different things, there's ways that you can do that. But I would recommend that you keep it really simple by just changing the look of maybe the background and the colors and things like that, and then saving that as a chart template, which I'll show you how you can do. So if you want to start to create your own look about the way your charts look, and then set a template, you can firstly right click on the screen, come down to properties. So right click and go to properties. And then inside of here, we have the ability to change the cosmetic look of things. You can see here very clearly it says background, foreground, grid, bar up, bar down, etc., etc. So you can start to have a play around with how you'd like your charts to look. And if you'd like to start to set them up to look something like this, like I do, you can very easily, within a few minutes, just do that. But you don't have to do that each time you open a new chart. Of course, you don't need to do that. You can save your own template, okay? So once you get the charts looking the way you like it to look, I want you to save your template, okay? So let's just presume we have changed things. We haven't, but let's just presume we did. And now it looked something like this, or whatever it looked like, however you've created it. You can go ahead and save your chart template by right-clicking and go to Template, and then Save Template, okay? So if I do that, that will bring up the Save Template window where you can name the file of the chart template. So if my name is John, I might name it John's chart template, or whatever you want to name it. Once you click on Save, it's going to add it into the templates area of MetaTrader for you, and you're going to be able to then, when you create a new chart down the bottom, you're going to be able to bring that chart template up on anything that you put up, okay? So what I mean by that is, if we do, let's say we go to the GBP USD here where we were, let's say I wanted to bring on my fancy nice template that I like to use, I can right-click, go to Template, and you can see here it says Grant's chart, okay, that's me. I can click on that, and there we go. That is the actual chart template that I created personally myself that I like to use. It's not inside of your MetaTrader 4, by the way, but it's just my template, okay? And you can start to do that. And you don't need to worry about doing this every time. If you close down your trading platform and reopen it again, it will remember what you have done or created. It'll be there for you. Now, incidentally, in the top left-hand corner of the chart here, you can see there's also a sell and buy option up here, a quick new order window. You can minimize this. In fact, I would recommend that you do. You can see there's a little arrow right in the top left-hand corner. You can click on that, and that will remove that for you, because I'm going to show you how to use the new order window here, okay, rather than using that function that was there. If you do want to use that function, you can just click the little arrow and it will come back up for you, okay? So that's the sell and the buy there, but you can minimize that if you want to do that. All right, I'm going to just look at my chart template window tonight because I'm familiar with looking at that. But if it's not what it looks like on your MetaTrader 4 at the moment, that's okay. You can set up your own chart template in your charts as well. We're just going to look at my cosmetic charts tonight. Now, up the top of our market watch, we have a little time here. You can see in the top left-hand corner it says market watch 12, 25, 46, 48 ticking away. That time you cannot change. Okay, that is Greenwich Mean Time +2, or depending on what time of the year we are with daylight savings, but you can't change that. It's a handy tool to look at if you're looking at different time frames. You might want to have a quick look over there to see if you're coming up to the end of the 4-hour chart or whatever it might be. But please don't think you can change that into your local time zone. You cannot. Up the top, there is a number of buttons up here. There's quite a few, in fact. And for many of you, you might have a little less than this. You might have a few more, depending on if you try to customize some of your buttons up here. There is only a couple of buttons which I want you to be using if you're new to MetaTrader 4 in the first few days and weeks, okay? And that is firstly the button that I showed you a moment ago, which is the plus sign up here, which is to create a new chart, which I've showed you how to do a moment ago. Or there's also the new order button. The new order button is essentially where we come to buy and sell and the different order types that are available for us inside of here. I want you to keep it simple. The reason being is when people start to click around and play around with a lot of these buttons up here, it starts to mess around with the way the charts and the platform operates and looks to you, okay? Because 90% of all of those buttons up there, other than the new order button, the rest of them really are all cosmetic, okay? Meaning they change the look of things, or you have a drawing tool, you have lots of easy tools and buttons up there, but I would just keep it simple, okay? The idea is to learn to drive this vehicle. Okay, a little bit like example I said when we started tonight of learning the brakes, accelerator, steering wheel. You don't need to know the nitty-gritties of the platform at this stage. You just want to know how to place a basic trade, adjust a trade, which we've been doing with you tonight. Okay, so leave all those other buttons alone. As time goes on, you'll start to gravitate to some of them. All right, you probably won't even use all of them. All right, there's a lot there that you probably will never use, but some of them you will, and there's some handy tools up there that are available for you at some point in time. But right now, the priority, if you're new to MetaTrader 4, is just the basics of placing the trade, okay, which we're going to come to in a moment or two. All right, so coming onto the charts itself, as I said, if you've downloaded, I might just create that basic chart again so we have one to look at. So if you're new to MetaTrader 4 and you have a chart in front of you that looks like this, that is absolutely fine, okay? But there's a number of ways that we can look at charts. We can look at line charts, bar charts, candlestick charts. Currently at the moment on the screen, and it's the default of MetaTrader 4, is a candlestick chart, okay, of whatever currency pair or asset class that we're looking at on the screen, okay? And I would venture to say, in my opinion, the vast majority of professional traders look at Japanese candlestick charts like this the vast majority of the time. But if you're somebody that likes to look at other things like line charts or bar charts, they are available up the top along your buttons up here if your preference is to look at charts that way, okay? I'm going to move it back to my just standard chart template that I have, so it's a little easier for us to follow along with the different colors to ensure that you understand how the actual candlesticks move and the different time frames that we have available for us. So on the screen is a candlestick chart of the Australian US dollar. I know that is because in the top left-hand corner that tells me the AUD USD. And that's a candlestick chart. There's a number of indicators and things there which I won't go into tonight. We're not here to get into specifics of my charts and why I have them the way we do. We just want to learn the basics of what we're looking at here. So on a candlestick chart, what we currently have is on the far right-hand side here, a little green candle here at the moment, and that is green at the moment, telling me the price of the Australian dollar is moving up in value against the US dollar. So really, very, very simply, anything green, the price of the Australian dollar has gone up in value. Anything red, it has gone down in value against the US dollar, and that's the currency pair that we're looking at here at the moment. So green up, red down. So there's lots of different time frames that we can set our candlesticks to. Currently, this is a 4-hour chart. And I know that if I look very, very closely up the top here, if you follow my cursor, it says H4 up here. There's a number of buttons here, M1 all the way through to MN, that is 1 minute, all the way through to 1 month. Okay, depending on the type of trader that you are, if you're an intraday trader or day trading where you're placing multiple positions in the market each day, then generally that type of trader is looking at smaller time frames like 5-minute, 15-minute type charts. Swing traders or people holding positions maybe from a couple of days through to a couple of weeks, they might be looking at maybe 1 hour, 4-hour type charts. And longer term traders may be looking at some larger time frames. But for simplicity tonight, we're just going to leave it here on a 4-hour chart and talk about the candles here for a couple of moments. So you can see that there's the body of the candle, and also I'll blow this up a little bit. We've got some wicks and tails as well. So as I said, green up, green meaning that during the time frame that you're looking at, the price of the base currency, the Australian dollar, has moved up in value. So the base currency is always the first currency, or if you're talking about a currency pair, the base currency is the first currency, and in our case, it's the AUD. And the candles on the screen are a representation of the Australian dollar. Okay, it happens to be against the US dollar, but it's telling us at the moment that during the current 4 hours, which only started a little over half an hour ago, this is a 4-hour candle, and currently the last 32 or 33 minutes, the price of the Australian dollar has moved up in value. Okay. And the one previous to that, the actual candle closed green. So that means the price of the Australian dollar finished higher than where it started. The candle previous to that, well, that's what we call a Doji candle, okay, where the price essentially opened and closed at the same price, okay. It opened, it did go up and down a little bit, and that's what actually created those little wicks or tails, but it closed actually pretty much at the same price that it started at, okay? So it doesn't have any body to it, okay? So occasionally you will see that type of candle, and it's actually nice for us to see that tonight in front of us there on the, that's the third candle back from the current candle. That's a Doji candle. So in relation to the wicks and the tails, I'll just bring that up a little bit more so we can talk about that. I'm going to talk about the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth candle back here, okay, which is a green candle. We've got a wick here and a wick up the top and a tail here. I just want to explain the wicks and the tails very quickly because some people get a little bit inquisitive about how they're created and what they are. When this 4-hour candle started, it started right here, okay? The previous candle before it finished there, and this one opened up immediately right here. And at the end of the 4 hours, it finished up there, okay? So the body of the candle tells me that during the 4 hours, the price eventually at the end of the 4 hours finished higher than where it started. That's why it's green. The body of the candle, the price moved this far in the 4 hours and it closed up higher. However, during the 4 hours, it also did at some point travel down here. And it also came up and traveled a little higher than where it finally finished. So it actually marks the territory of where the price traveled, okay? So that Doji candle, if I even go back a little further, we can see this Doji candle here where the price is open and closed at the same level. That's a great example for you to really understand what wicks and tails are, right? Because this actual candle opened, at some point it went down, and at some point it went back up, or it might have gone up first and then back down, but it eventually essentially closed pretty well where it started. And but it did create the wicks and the tails for us to show. And there are different candlestick price patterns that are very helpful in relation to trading. A lot of traders use them in their strategy of technical analysis, okay? So there's a few basic ones, and I'm going to point you out to some educational videos at the end of this session tonight where you can learn a little more about different candlestick price action, okay? All right, let's jump on now and talk about how we place a trade. And I'm going to show you how you can practice placing your own trades yourself and get very, very comfortable with learning how to place your own trades. Okay, now we're just going to talk about some examples here tonight, and it's very important to know this is just a coaching educational session only. I'm not giving you specific advice whatsoever. I'm just showing examples of how we place a basic trade. So I'm going to use the Australian US dollar here tonight, and we're just going to use example of a buy, okay? We're going to use example of a buy, and I want to teach you here how you can place your own practice trades and then delete them off, go to another currency pair or whatever asset class it is, and you can do the same process on any asset class whatsoever, okay? So let's just presume we want to practice placing a buy, and we're going to use an instant execution. We'll talk about pending orders shortly, but this is an instant way of jumping into the market. First, we want to pick out an entry price. Well, if we're going to jump in instantly, that's pretty much going to be where the price is at the moment, okay? So if you've got a bit of paper in front of you when you do this exercise, you can just write down E for entry on your bit of paper and just write down roughly where the current price is at the moment. And for me, that's 0.71132. Now that might jump around a little bit, that doesn't matter, okay? But that's roughly where we're going to enter, where the current price is, and this line to the right here, over that little white box, that is the current price, okay? So that's where we're going to roughly enter. Now, we need a profit target, a place where we're prepared to get rewarded if the price moves in our favored direction. So we need to pick out a profit target, right? So just for the example tonight, we're going to go up here a little bit, and I'm going to choose a profit target up a little further here, and you can do the same exercise on any asset class at all. Just pick a profit target up there, okay? It's just showing you how to place trades. So write this down, write down PT for profit target, and you can write down 0.73650. That's roughly where our profit target will be. But we also need a stop loss, a maximum risk in the market to ensure that we're not exposing our account to certain risk, and we want to put a stop loss in place to ensure if the market goes against us, we're going to have an exit strategy in play. So if we're buying and our profit target's above where the current price is, of course our stop loss would be below, wouldn't it? So let's just choose a random number down here and write down on a bit of paper, SL for stop loss, 0.70180. And that's going to be our stop loss. So we're going to essentially jump in at the current price. We'll have a profit target and a stop loss, and I've written those down. You don't need to, but I'm going to show you how we do this. So now we know where we're going to have those set. We need to hit the new order button. We're going to click on new order, and this is the order pad. The order pad. When we open up the order pad, it automatically defaults to a market execution. What does that mean? What does market execution mean? It means instant, okay? When we hit sell or buy, we're jumping into the market straight away, and we are accepting whatever the market is prepared to offer us as a price. We are accepting whatever the market is prepared to offer us as a price when we hit buy or sell by market. That's why it's called a market execution. But in simple terms, think of it as instant, okay? Now, up the top here, when we clicked on new order, it's going to bring up the order pad of whatever chart is behind you on the charts. Always remember that, okay? That is important. Now, underneath there, it says volume. We're going to be controlling a certain amount of currency in our case, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about leverage and margin shortly, but essentially the brokers provide us an opportunity to control a certain amount of currency in our case, or precious metal, or whatever it might be. Now, if it says 0.01, we're essentially controlling the smallest increment or smallest volume that is available for us to trade. If it says here 0.01, that's essentially 1,000 units of Australian dollars, okay? And if where it says 0.10, it's 10,000 units of Australian currency. A full standard lot is what we call 1.00. Now, in some upcoming educational type sessions, we're going to be talking about maybe some risk exposure and how you can understand how to position size your trades correctly. We won't go into the specifics of that tonight, but we'll just use a simple example tonight of 0.10 as an example for your volume. If you have a practice demo account, just put in a smaller number, okay, to get familiar with how to do this. It's not critically important, your volume on your demo accounts really, but when you certainly get to your real money live accounts, the volume that you control of the asset class you're trading is critically important, okay? You want to understand what the risk exposure is, and we'll do some more education on that in some upcoming sessions. But if you're just practicing, type in a volume inside of there. If you've got to say an account of say 10,000 or so, whatever it is, you can type in 0.10. That's okay. So we want to put in our stop loss, and we can highlight the stop loss box. That's the quickest way to change the number. Just highlight the box and type in whatever stop loss you chose, okay? Now as for our 0.70180 is just the stop loss level where we're going to have. We have a take profit level, 0.73650. They're the numbers that we chose and wrote down, just as examples of how to place a trade. Now we said we're going to hit buy. We're going to buy tonight. There's obviously a sell option here, but clearly we're going to be buying by market. It says market execution. You do not need to type in a comment. You don't need to do that. We're just going to click on buy by market and then click OK. So you can see here on the screen here very clearly that we have a red dotted line up the top. We have a red dotted line down the bottom. There is a little blue dotted line behind here, which we can't see at the moment because the current price is sitting on top of it, but that's our entry. Okay, we've entered the market as a buy. We have a profit target up the top and a maximum risk, what we call a stop loss down here. So in our case here, we want lots of green candles to stair-step their way up the top to our profit target and exit us out for a profit at that level. And if you hold your cursor over the red dotted line, it will tell you what your profit is, $347.07 in my case there. So I do not need to be seeing in front of my computer. Those orders are sitting on the broker's server electronically. You can go to bed, get about your day, whatever it is. If it's triggered on that red dotted line as a profit, that profit would flow back into my balance inside the account immediately and the trade would be over, okay? So the price needs to trigger on my red dotted line up there as a profit. What about if it doesn't? What about if it moves down? It moves up a little bit and down here and takes me out down here on the red dotted line down there. Well, that is your maximum risk in the market. Okay, maximum risk. And if I hover my cursor there, it says minus $140. So I've got a trade running in the market there with a larger profit target than a stop loss. So it's a greater reward than the risk. But I can comfortably know that I can get about my day or go to bed at night. And if the market does not go in my favored direction, I have a maximum risk in place or a stop loss in place that will exit me at a certain level that I chose. And you're going to eventually learn technical strategies around where to place your profit targets and your stop losses to ensure you can maximize those opportunities, okay? But that's the basic way of placing a trade. And I want you to practice that. You can delete the trade off if you want to. So down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the little cross down inside of here. You can exit the trade where it says profit. You can click on that, and that will prompt you to close the trade, and that will close the trade at whatever your profit is. And by the way, we've got a trade running down there, so you can see there's a trade running there, minus $1.26. That includes the brokerage costs that you have when you place a position that's immediately taken. And once you hit your profit target or stop loss, that's a net result, Okay, but that trade is running. And if we click that cross, that will close the position. I won't do that right now. There's another way you can do it. You can right click on the trade. Okay, you can right click on the trade down there and you can click close order. Okay, and that will bring up this window here. And we could close the trade, and currently we can close it at 42 cents profit. Okay, that's what it says, or whatever it might be. All right, so that's a very easy way of closing a position. What about if you wanted to adjust a trade? What about if I wanted to adjust my profit target or stop loss? Well, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can either click the red line. If I wanted to move my profit target, I can click the red line and move it to a desired level that I want to. Let go, and that will give me the modify option, and I can modify the profit target. Or I can do the same thing with my stop loss. I can click it, tighten it up, or move it down. There's trade management that you can have in relation to your trade. We might do a session shortly in the coming weeks on taking partial profit as trade starts to move in your favored direction and how you can do that. But you can, that's one way of moving your profit target stop loss. You can click and drag them around. But if you want to get very specific, you can right click on the trade in the bottom, right click, click on modify or delete. So right click in the trade terminal window on your trade, modify or delete, and you can change the stop loss very specifically to an exact price that you want to choose. And people using tight stops and profit targets, things very often will want to be very specific, so they'll like to do it this way. Okay, so there's a couple of options for you there. All right, but we're going to go ahead and close this trade. We're going to move on to pending orders now. Okay. So I'm just going to right click and close this trade. So we've got a nice clean slate on here. It doesn't matter, it's a demo practice account. We can close that. That's closed that position, it's gone. I wasn't looking at the profit, whether we're in profit or not, but it doesn't matter. Let's move on to pending orders. So we know how to jump into the market straight away, but what about if we didn't want to jump into the market straight away and we wanted to place an order up a little bit further? You can see I've just placed a red line on the screen. Let's say we didn't want to enter in straight away. We wanted to see the price break through this moving average here, for instance, and move up and enter us in up at a different level. That's what we would call a pending order. And there's a number of different types of pending orders. We're going to keep things nice and simple tonight. But I'm going to show you tonight a buy stop order and a sell stop order. They're probably two of the most prominent pending type orders people will use. A pending buy stop order is when you have an entry price ahead of where the current price is. So you want the price to move up and enter you in at a specific level that you set, and then you want to have a profit target set and also a stop loss. So this is called a pending buy stop order. So I'm just going to delete that red line, and let's go ahead and do the same process, very similar to what we did before on the other buy order. This is going to be a buy stop, and we're going to choose a price over on the right-hand side where we're going to enter the market. I'm going to choose an entry at 0.71910. That's where our entry price is going to be, right there on the right where I'm circling my cursor. I'm going to pick a profit target up the top there. I'm going to write down PT in 0.73300. And a stop loss, if I'm buying, my stop loss will be below my entry price. So I'm going to choose a stop loss down here. I'm going to choose SL 0.70870. So let's go ahead and place the pending order. Really easy to do. We'll just click on the same new order button as we did before. But we're going to change a couple of things here. Right in the middle of the order pad, it says market execution. I want to change this to pending order. Pending order. Underneath the word pending order, you see another, it says buy limit. That is not what we want. We'll go through a buy limit order and a sell limit order in future educational sessions, but let's keep it simple tonight using the two most common ones for pending orders. So let's change it to buy stop. That's the one we want, where the price, the order would be ahead of where the current price is. So we've got a type of pending order. It's a buy stop. We're now going to go in and fill the other blanks in here, which is the volume, the stop loss, the take profit target, and the entry price, okay? Let's just choose the volume. We're going to choose a simple volume, 0.10, just to keep it nice and simple. You go demo account. We're going to place a stop loss, okay? We chose a stop loss 0.70870. We're going to choose our profit target. We just wrote down a random number, 7330. And of course, the at price, where it says buy stop here and it says underneath at price, this is asking you, where do you want the entry price to be? Where do you want the entry price to be? Well, we chose that. I just wrote it down, 0.71910. And you can do the same. It's exactly the same process on any asset class. It doesn't have to be a currency pair. It can be on precious metals, stock indices, whatever you like, okay? And you can do the same thing. Pick out a profit target, stop loss, use the type pending order, buy stop, put in where you'd like to enter that. And then you've got a, see, we've got a blue place button. We don't have a buy or sell button because we're just placing the order at a specific price, okay? Think of it like this. We walked into a restaurant. We sat down in the restaurant. We've ordered the food, but the food has not come to us yet. That's what you are doing right now, okay? We're placing the order. So let's go ahead and click on place and click on OK. Now we can see the white line from left to right is the current price right now. That's where the top of the green candle is. Our entry price is up here, the blue dotted line. So we need the price to move up. We need to trigger in up here. When we do, our trade will be then what we call in trading terms filled, F-I-L-L-E-D. You'll be filled into the market and you then would be in the trade and you'll have a profit target up the top and your stop loss is set down the bottom, okay? And you can see down the bottom in the trade terminal window, you'll notice in the profit where it says profit, it says 000. That's because our trade is not running yet. We have not been filled into the market yet. Therefore, we need the price to be filled in to enter us in, okay? So that's a simple way of you placing a buy stop order into the market. And if you're doing a sell stop order, you'd be doing exactly the opposite, okay? You would just be placing, you know, if we were looking for the market to move down, you'd place a pending order lower than where the price is. It would be called a sell stop order, and you could practice doing exactly the same thing. And I encourage you to do that. Practice your market execution and your pending orders so you know how, where the brake, accelerator, steering wheel, how to drive your trading platform in the basics of ways. Because if you can't do that, you won't move on to be a, you know, making substantial profits and being a great trader in the markets unless you know how to use your trading platform properly. The basic of orders, okay? If I want to delete the order off, the question often comes is, what about if the price doesn't come up here and trigger me in and it just keeps coming down, 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 down here? What can I do? How can I delete the order? Well, that's very easy. You can just click the little cross in the bottom right corner. It will prompt you to close the pending order or remove it or delete it. We can just right click it as well. Click on modify or delete. And we can go ahead and click on delete, okay? And that will delete the order. You have not paid any trade cost whatsoever if you placed a pending order and not got filled into the market. You only pay that once you've filled into the market, so you can practice placing your pending orders there as well. All right, let's move on to a little bit of understanding about leverage and margin, and also a couple of things down in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see here balance, equity, and free margin. In terms of leverage, when you trade this particular market, the brokers provide you an opportunity to control, use the word control. You have the opportunity to control a little more than what you have in your account balance. Okay, now, depending on your jurisdiction around the world, different governments have different levels of leverage they allow you to use, okay? But I'll just use the example of 100-to-1 leverage, okay? That is quite a bit, okay? But that would essentially mean that for every $1 in your account, if you had access to 100-to-1 leverage, for every $1 in your account, you have the ability to control 100 times that. Okay, you have the ability to control. So if you had 300-to-1 leverage available, you have the ability to control 300 times whatever you have available as a balance. If you have 30-to-1 leverage, then you can, every $1 in your account, you have the ability to control 30 times that. But I highly recommend you be very risk adverse in relation to your account, and ensure in upcoming sessions with us, we teach you how to volume control your positions correctly to ensure that you're not using all of the leverage. That is crazy to be doing that. You certainly should never ever be doing that. You want to use that leverage very, very professionally. Okay, but that's essentially what leverage is. A little bit the same, I guess, as when you go and buy a house. You've got to put a deposit down. The bank leverages you the rest for you to go and buy that big asset, right? So I want you to think of the balance in your account. It's like a deposit, right? It's like a deposit that allows you to control more on your positions in the market. And leverage is a great thing to be able to use if you're using it really professionally and understanding what you're using there, okay? Now, margin really is a little bit different, okay? Margin's a little bit different. Margin really is the available funds that the broker requires you to have in your account to open a certain position size, okay? So let's just jump into the market real quick, and I'll show you what I mean by that inside of the trade terminal window, because we can do that very quickly here. We'll just place a quick trade. I'll pick out some random numbers here. Just place a quick trade in the market, 0.7226. So I want to show you this with a trade running so we can see the balance and equity in the bottom left-hand corner. So stop loss, just choose 0.70. 530. Just an example of showing you here what it looks like. So let's go ahead and click on buy real quick. All right, so we've got a trade running, and I want you to cast your eye down in the bottom left corner where it says balance and equity and then margin, okay? So the difference between balance and equity is really the open trades you have running in the market. So the balance, your flat balance, the equity is including any open positions you have in the market. So if you've got a trade running like I do at the moment at minus $1.41, my equity is exactly that. It's minus whatever I have my open position is, or plus whatever my open position is. So if I had a trade running of plus $150 and the profit in the bottom right corner says 150, and I knew that was a profit, then my equity would be $150 on top of my balance, okay, because the equity includes any of my open positions, okay? So that's the difference between equity and balance. Margin is what the broker required you to have inside of your account as a minimum to actually open the position size of that size, okay? So for me to open a position as I did there at 0.10, which is 10,000 units of Australian currency, I actually only needed to have $333.33 inside of my account to open a position of that size. But would I be silly enough to do that? Would I be silly enough to open an a position size of 0.10 with only $333 in my account? No, that would be foolish, because as soon as price tipped against me one pip, that would close my entire my account, okay? So we want to ensure that we are controlling our position sizes correctly, our volume, and we might do that in some upcoming educational sessions to ensure that you're using the leverage really, really professionally, because leverage is a fantastic thing to use if you do it really professional. And you have the ability to learn that on a demo account. That's one of the great things about trading on demo account. They'll operate identically the same as real money. So don't think that when you're trading a demo account, when you go live to real money, everything looks different and things operate differently on your trading platform. They don't. It's exactly the same. So get familiar with how to do that, okay? So balance, flat balance, equity includes any open positions. Margin is simply the level in which that the broker required to open a position size of that size. Free margin is what I have got left to open any future positions on other trades that I want to place, okay? So that's important for you to note. And margin level there is just expressed as a percentage. Don't confuse things too much with that. All right, gang, that's pretty well all I wanted to really cover off on tonight, how to practice and place your own basic trades. It's really, really important. I want you to learn how to place a market execution, the basic buys and sells. Place them, delete them off, go to another different currency pair, go to a different asset class, do exactly the same thing. Do the same thing with your pending orders. Place your pending orders off, delete them off, learn how to place them on. And what you're doing is you're starting to learn to drive the vehicle that's going to eventually take you on your investment journey. There's no point in getting a trading platform and a demo account and playing around and thinking you're going to be a professional trader making substantial profits if you can't use your trading platform correctly. You've got to be able to use those basic tools that are in front of you and keep it really simple to begin with. All right, before we go, I do want to point out some other educational courses that are available over on our website. You should see the fxtrading.com website in front of you now. And up here it says education. If you go to fxtrading.com, you'll see there's a little portal up the top there. And if you click on the link that says education, and you can see down here, there's some fantastic tutorials on MetaTrader 4 that are available for you. In fact, if you're new to trading the derivative market, which is currencies, indexes, all of the markets are available for you. There's some great ebooks, some great courses and things for you to get through that are absolutely fantastic to take your knowledge and understanding of this market to the next level, to ensure you can just get all the basic stuff right first, okay? And then start to learn some trading strategies and different things that might assist you. But keep it simple to begin with. Learn the trading platform, learn the basics of placing trades, and then maybe, as I said, in the next couple of weeks, we might even do a session or two on controlling the correct volume inside of your positions according to how much balance you have available to ensure that you're keeping your risk exposure nice and tight. Because I can assure you, capital preservation of your funds in your account is king, absolutely king. Okay, and if you can learn to do that from the start, you're going to give yourself every opportunity to become a really profitable independent trader moving forward. Don't forget also, if you have enjoyed tonight's session and you're ready to move on to live funds, inside of your client portal area, you'll have an area where you can fund your account. If you need some assistance in doing that, please reach out to one of the service team at any time. We're more than happy to assist you. So on behalf of all of the team here at fxtrading.com, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been great to have you with us. If we're doing some further educational sessions coming up in the coming days and weeks, we'll certainly let you know. Have a fantastic rest of the week. If you are trading, look after your risk exposure into the market, enjoy it, and we'll look forward to seeing you in an upcoming session. Bye for now.